I was gonna continue on with the video, but I realized my mic wasn't plugged in. Good on me, just saved myself a whole hour. I was looking at this. I had this idea in my head. I've been had it. I knew I was gonna do it for this video. I just knew it. But now that it's actually here being executed, I'm shook. In tears almost. This is so cute. I tried to make him agree. I tried to make him dab, but the arm wouldn't move that way. But I think it kind of looks like it. I think it looks like if like a parent or somebody dabbed and it's like not cool, but it's like, you know? Hello. In today's pick a card reading / pick a cartoon reading, I guess, and you know, I don't have that many crystals. I need to grow my collection, honestly. But yeah, and today we're gonna be asking, what do people find attractive about you? I love these readings. I think they are kind of good for you, I feel, because like, you know, like you get to kind of see what other people see about you. Like I really always wish I could experience my own vibe, you know, like I wish I could meet myself, but like as like a different person. But anyways, yeah, you know, these are the piles, you know, like you pick one and you go reading. I never know what to do with the intros, but I have a witch obsession, always have, love Halloween, cutesy stuff, and I think I'm gonna start saying this, but you know, I post videos every Monday and Friday. That made me think. It's right now it's Thursday, but that's because I know I'm not gonna want to film tomorrow. I just know it, so I was like, I want to film today, so I'm gonna film today. So yeah, and I usually post pick a card readings on Wednesdays. Maybe I'll have like a flash video of like me ranting or like an unboxing if I get a new tarot deck. Which, by the way, I've been eyeing a bunch of tarot decks, but Material Girl is saving up the funds to go get them. And yeah, subscribe and like, comment, all of the above. You know, I love doing this stuff and would really be happy doing it for as a living, or you know. But yeah, let's get right into the reading. I feel like I never want the intros to be long, so yeah, if you already chosen your card, go to your reading, you know, have fun, lol. But if you want to listen to me ramble for an extra minute, hi. Oh my gosh, y'all, so my car is still in the shop because they're waiting on a new windshield, so now I gotta wait. And I've been waiting and I haven't really left the house. My friend took me out. Goodness gracious, I love her for that. And yeah, and I'm assuming I'm gonna get it. Maybe it could be as early as today or as late as like next week. And my registration expires tomorrow. So, but I have the stickers coming in, so it's gonna be kind of awkward. I'm hoping that if it doesn't happen tomorrow, the windshield, that I just get the stickers the same time that my car is done. That way I can put the stickers on at the dealership so I don't get pulled over and have my entire career scalped. Because, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I even bought an X-Acto knife to do that thingy with the sticker because I seen it on social media and I was like, you know what? I hate to admit it, but that's a pretty good idea. And lo and behold, I told my friend about it and she was like, yeah, when my registration expired, I was thinking about doing that to someone else's car. I was like, you're crazy. I don't know what's wrong with you. But that was just kind of proof to me that like I should take this more seriously. So yeah, let's get right into your reading. Thank you so much. Low pile 1, if you chose Scooby-Doo, this is going to be a reading. I freaking love Scooby-Doo. I've been watching so much of it. In fact, when I'm done filming, maybe I'll go watch it because it just gave me that idea. But this is going to be your reading for what people find most attractive about you. So for your card, we have the unicorn. And right off the bat, pile 1, I feel like you're a really reliable, compassionate, and reassuring person. Perhaps you're the friend that people go to for advice a lot, or like, you know, like if it doesn't deal with your friends. I also feel like you give off this vibe of being very sweet and maybe even a pushover, but not like in a, like you don't have to be a pushover, you know, but like someone who perhaps needs protection, you know, maybe men particularly, or very masculine energies are attracted to that. And we all know how men be in this freaking society, let's be real, y'all. But I also feel like you, because it's a unicorn, I feel like you are also very unique. I feel like maybe you dress very differently, very quirky, if you will, and I feel like you're just kind of like the needle in the haystack type of person, like you just go to like Walmart or something and everyone be looking at you, they're like, what they doing here? Like, who is they? Like, they should be somewhere, like they're like from another world or something. And in a good way, like people have never seen someone like you. You're very unique, and I feel like I also get this vibe that like you very much are in tune with your masculine and feminine energy, and maybe you like to play with those a lot, and like you like to play with whatever sexual vibes you may give off. And I feel like maybe people get confused by your sexuality a lot, whatever you identify as. I feel like maybe people get confused as to what you may be attracted to, or what you would be like if you were to get down. So I just immediately get this vibe that you're just like a one of a kind person, and people recognize that. And people, I almost wonder if like more masculine energies, like it's kind of this vibe of people sense that you are very much capable of standing up for yourself and you carry yourself really well. But whether or not you're actually insecure, I feel like maybe people, especially intelligent or intuitive people, maybe can sniff that out. And I feel like they want, maybe this is like a bunch of different things, because it feels like on top of the fact that you are very strong and you carry yourself well, I feel like people also may sense that you did this as protection. You are the way you are because you've gone through a lot and you've been weathered by your past experiences and what's happened to you and what you've overcome. And not to say that those, dented you or anything or left a scar on you. And whether or not they have, I feel like people sense that, you are a person who has suffered. And that is kind of a telltale sign as to why you come off as so compassionate yet so sure of yourself. It's this duality of having suffered and you now do not want that for other people. I feel like you very much are the kind of person that's like, yeah, like I've gone through a lot and I would never want people to go through what I've gone through. And just this vibe that you're a very unique person, and maybe you come off as a loner sometimes. Maybe you are kind of maybe emotionally unavailable, and I don't know, maybe people like that. But I also feel like if that is not the case, I just feel like you give off this vibe of being very dreamy and someone who is very much into quirky things and is into their own things. I feel like your hobbies, your passions, your dreams, maybe you don't talk about them a lot because you're afraid of judgment, or you would just rather not deal with people judging you. And I feel like you are a very compassionate person and very accepting of other people's dreams, hobbies, and what they're into, because you very much understand that if you can be into what you're into, other people can be, like, people just can be into whatever they're into. And I feel like you give off this very inclusive vibe, and a lot of people may be attracted to that. Maybe people are like, wow, like, like I get a lot of weird messages just thinking about it, but people are very much into the fact that despite the fact that you're so beautiful and so unique and attractive, this doesn't mean that you're a discriminating person. It's like, and you don't give off those weird people vibes. Like, you don't seem strange or anything. And not that there's anything wrong with being strange or any of that. I feel like that's a societal construct, but you know what I mean. People aren't frightened. They're actually they're intrigued. They find you very alluring. They find, like, they want to know what you're into. Like, what is your favorite color? Like, what's your favorite movie? Like, are you into Naruto? Like, things like that. And let's get into the tarot. Oh, I feel like I could go on and on about this one card. But today we're using the Apparition Tarot. I haven't used this deck in any of my readings yet, actually. I thought, like, oh, it's Halloween, apparition, mean ghost, right? I try to be very careful when shuffling this deck because this gold edging is so beautiful. I already kind of messed it up. So embarrassing. This is definitely one of the more iconic tarot decks in my opinion. I feel like everyone that does tarot, like especially on YouTube, like has it, and it's just like I love this for everyone. Anyways, what do people find attractive about pile 1? What do people find attractive about pile 1? What do people find attractive about pile 1? I have a very different idea of how I want to do the readings today. So I'm going to put the deck down and pull cards and kind of read them as we go. So first card, we have the 5 of Swords. Yeah, it definitely seems as though when I say that you have quote unquote suffered a lot, I feel like that's an understatement. But with the 5 of Swords, I also feel like you give off this vibe of being brutally honest, someone who is very critical, someone who may be even very judgmental, and not in a bad way, you know, not like you're like, oh my gosh, like that color looks so bad on you, you know. You're very much someone who has a very sharp discernment. You have very good judgment. I feel like you're a very good judge of character, pile 1. I feel like the minute you meet someone, you can immediately sense whether or not they're a good or bad person, you know, or if there's someone that you vibe with. And I feel like people are very obsessed with this. I feel like maybe some people that have met you are very obsessed with how critical you are, and it's like you're a very complicated person, pile 1. I mean that in the nicest way possible. Like, you're very unique and you're very intricate, because it seems as if though you're very inclusive and you're very accepting of all walks of life. I get strong Aquarius vibes from this reading, and also Aries, but I feel like people are very much they're like addicted to that. They're addicted to your opinion and what you have to say, you know. Maybe people ask for your opinion a lot or your insight a lot. Maybe people are like, oh, like, what do you think of this person? Or, oh, what do you think of this person? I feel like maybe a lot of people who have just met you, like, they very much understand how good of an eye you have. And I feel like people, despite the fact that you're an accepting person, maybe they pull up, you know, acting a specific way or not quite themselves because they're so obsessed with pleasing you, or they may be very into pleasing, you know, or, you know, appealing to you, you know. I feel like that people may understand that if other people are exposed to your energy, they will get just as, you know, obsessed. And I feel like because of that, they sense competition, or they sense that they could have competition if you were to meet more people. But yeah, and it just seems like the whole thing about suffering, I feel like you have gone through a lot, and people sense that you're a very strong person, someone who is not afraid to cut their losses and move on. I feel like you're someone who is very good at moving on, moving along, and people probably find that really attractive. You know, people are probably like, wow, this person's strong, like this person knows the tea, they know what's up, you know, they know how to carry themselves, you know, they don't need someone, you know. And let's all be real, y'all, like, when you present to the world that you don't need anyone, and people are just like obsessed with making you need them, and maybe you've dealt with that before, pile 1, but I feel like this has also gotten you into trouble before, pile 1. Maybe people who have expressed interest to you are kind of like a thrill of the chase. Maybe you attract people like that a lot, which is pretty annoying. But let's pull another card. Okay, we also have the World. So, with the World card, ooh, I see a lot of animals in this. Like, y'all see this? There's a lot of animals. Maybe you're very good of animals, pile 1. Maybe you have like a pet, or you're very attached to animals. I feel like people sense that. You know, maybe like whenever you go out, you would have dog hair on your clothes, or like, you know, like, I don't know, anything, you know, cat hair, or whatever you may have. Maybe you have a snake and somehow the skin just got on you. Something like that, you know? I feel like they're just, or the way maybe you smell, or maybe the way, like, you present yourself. Maybe people can kind of sense that you have animals, or that you're very much into animals. And I feel like people are very fascinated by that. and people think that it's very attractive, you know. And I feel like that's kind of a thing. I feel like people are very much into people that have pets, you know. There's like, oh, are you a dog or cat person? I feel like maybe you get asked that question a lot. And I feel like, and it is the world card, so I feel like you have done some traveling, or maybe people want to travel with you. Maybe you seem like a very adventurous person, or someone who is very intelligent and very expansive, someone who is very much into. This is kind of like a separate message. I feel like with the world card, you really do seem to sack complete fulfillment, and I feel like you really like to be satisfied. Like, I feel like you're not the one to half-ass things. I feel like you don't do things halfway. I feel like you're an all or nothing person. You're very detail oriented. And with the world card, I just get this feeling that, you know, it's the end of the major arcana, you know, and I feel like because of that, like, you're probably a very karmic person, and I feel like you have, with the Five of Swords, oh, I keep stumbling over my words. Maybe people stumble over their words a lot around you, pile one, or they mess up their words a lot around you. But with the Five of Swords, I feel like you have definitely cut off people, or you've definitely humbled people who were allowed into your circle, and you know, now that they're not in it, they very much see the magnitude of your energy and how valuable you were. Maybe you like evoke strong opinions and strong emotions out of people, pile one. Maybe people have very strong opinions on you, and maybe you've been a source of controversy before. Let's pull another card. Okay, we also have the Empress. Y'all, this, okay. So first of all, we obviously once again have air here. We have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and then the world card is all the fixed signs, so you could also have Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. And then the Empress is Venus, so you could also have Taurus and Libra in your chart. But my gosh, the Empress is such a beautiful card, and I feel like you radiate such abundant energy, pile one. I feel like, wow, I'm having a lot of fun with this, by the way, pile one. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like you're just such a compassionate person, and I feel like you're so understanding, and I feel like maybe you are a self-sacrificing person. I feel like you have a very good attention span, and someone who just really cares, you know. Like, I feel like you're very good at helping people, or, you know, providing advice or help or compassion, love, all of that. And I feel like people definitely sense that, this fertility about you, and someone who, you know, it's kind of untouched, if you will. But, you know, obviously to get to the more physical side of it, like, you very well may be very physically attractive, pile one. You know, like, you don't have to be a Taurus or a Libra, but, you know, Taurus and Libras tend to have very, like, beautiful bodies, you know, especially Taurus. And it's just like, or maybe all the signs that I've mentioned, maybe you attract those a lot, but I just get this vibe that, like, you're very alluring and very attractive and very abundant, and I feel like you just have a very nice body. And I feel like when I say abundant, it's even better, or like, I don't want to say it in a way that makes, like, you know, like, I don't want to come off wrong, but it's like, it's magnified by the fact that this abundance was cultivated by you. Like, you have worked so hard to get to this point, and to be this attractive, and you very much have done a lot of exploration with your physical appearance, and honestly emotional hygiene, and you're very in tune with yourself, and you're very aware of yourself. And, you know, obviously when you're very aware of yourself with this unicorn card, maybe you can come on, like, be a little bit insecure, and maybe you can be very, you know, nervous. But I feel like with the Empress card, like, you're just amazing, pile one. Like, you're beautiful. Like, and I feel like when people meet you, they very much get this vibe that, like, you've worked very hard to be who they see, and they're so attracted to that, you know. And maybe people kind of want that for themselves, you know. Maybe they want that capacity to work on themselves, or maybe people crave like your assistance in exploring themselves. But I feel like, you don't have to, like, man, or like the Empress is a very feminine energy, but you could be a man or a woman, and or whatever you identify with, of course. But I feel like you definitely radiate a lot of divine feminine energy, and I feel like people are very attracted to that. You're very powerful and you're very good at manifesting things. I feel like you're very good at bringing things in through working on yourself. And ooh, like, I literally just can't express to you how beautiful the Empress card is. Like, literally in tarot, like, if you read guidebooks, like, it is just this mother figure that is capable of nurturing, someone who's capable of taking care of people, someone who is self-sacrificing, and someone who just cares a lot. That's like motherly energy. Like, you don't have to be a mom, but it's just this motherly energy, that you're very self-sacrificing and understanding and inclusive. So, another card. Okay, we also have the Sun. This is Leo energy. Notice that with this card, there's two people. I feel like you're also a good partier or someone who's very fun to hang out with. And the Sun card just like, it kind of makes me feel like you're just someone who is very fun to be around, someone who always keeps things interesting. And pile one, I feel like people immediately pick up on your sense of humor, and I feel like they're also very allured by that or very attracted to that. And I feel like you're just very fun. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I just feel like you're a really fun person. You always have good ideas. You always know what to do. Like, you have fun opinions. It's fun to talk to you. And I feel like also with the Sun card, like, you may also give off this vibe of like, I don't need other people to have fun. I don't need I don't need to constantly be around people or constantly have external energies to influence me so that I can have fun. Maybe you're very much not into substances or things like that. And I feel like people are also very attracted to that, like the fact that you're so discernful with your own energy, and it's like they feel honored when you spare them your energy. They feel very, like, how do I explain it? They feel very happy and they feel very like honored and like high off of it. It's like, wow, this person gave me the light of day. This person giving me attention. This person, like, unicorn, like, girl. And it's just very fascinating, because people sense that your energy is very loving and self-sacrificing, but they also know that you can take it away within seconds, or maybe you have done that before, which kind of goes hand in hand with this Five of Swords. And I feel like because of that, people who have lost you are especially aware of how amazing you are and how abundant and emotionally beautiful you are and how sweet you are. And I feel like if you've cut off people, they certainly were not expecting you to do so. They weren't expecting you to do that. And I feel like people are always very surprised of how assertive and how aggressive you can be and how, like, protective you can be over your energy and people you care about. I feel like you're very defensive over people you care about, and people also probably find that really attractive, especially with the Empress card. Maybe you're very defensive over people in your family, and you can be very like, hey, yo, don't talk about my family like that, like, just don't. And I feel like it's just this vibe of like, you are very careful with who you let into your circle. And that obviously inspires the honor part, but some people also probably sense that it can be taken away from them, and maybe people walk on eggshells around you because of that. Or at least some people, and obviously maybe that's not what you want to hear, pile one, because no one wants to hear that people walk on eggshells around them, but people are very much afraid to lose your energy or afraid to lose you. They appreciate you so much. So let's pull one more card, and then I have some more oracle cards. Okay, we also have the High Priestess. Ooh, I like how in this High Priestess, like, obviously I've seen this deck before, it's my collection, but I like how this hand is reaching inwards into this. That just leads me to believe that you have with this, especially with the, with this Empress card, you have a lot of inner resources. You're very abundant, and I feel like you're a very independent person, pile one. You're very intuitive, probably have a very good gut reactions, or you're very good at predicting things. High Priestess deals with anything intuition related. So I feel like you are a very intuitive person. Someone who has very good, like, I don't know, intuition, sense of emotion, someone who's very in tune with that part of themselves. And also, pile one, I've noticed that we have literally almost all major arcana except the Five of Swords. So you're a significant person, and you're someone who may be burdened, but you are someone who really, you're like you're the tea. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, pile one. Like, you literally are the tea. And I feel like you're very formidable, pile one. And people, I almost wonder if you've had negative experiences with other feminine energies because they see you as competition, and you're literally just not trying to compete. You're literally here to just have fun, and people are like, oh my god, like, they're not even trying, and they're just so legendary, and they're like, you know? And I feel like with the Five of Swords, like within the Empress card, maybe you have had to cut off a lot of women, especially, or people with feminine energy, because it's like they're like secretly against you instead of with you, which is just like something that you don't tolerate. So this reading's kind of getting a little long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and lay down your oracles. So for this deck, the Vessel Oracle, we have Love. I'm gonna lay them all down. Trust and Grieve. So pile one, I feel like, okay, first of all, the Trustworthy card, sorry. With the Trust and Love, your love is definitely very reliable. Like, I just been getting that all throughout this reading. Like, especially with this Grieve card, you've definitely dealt with people who are fake or people who have betrayed you. But it's like with this Trust and Love card, you still have the capacity to give people chances and to be forgiving and to continue to be loving and someone who is trustworthy and reliable, you know? And I feel like people find that very attractive about you. Like, when they get to know you, they're just like, wow, like, this person's gone through a lot, but they're not terrible. Like, they don't let their problems define them, you know? And with this Trust card, like, I feel like if you've made plans with people, I feel like you always go through with the things you say, or you always make up for things. So people probably really appreciate that. And with the Love card, you're probably very good at expressing that you're a soft person. I feel like you literally just do not judge people. Like, when you meet people, you do not judge them. Like, you're not at your core truly a judgmental person. And I feel like you care about people, and every time you may come off as critical, it's never from a place of hatred. It's never with malicious intent. Like, I feel like you never have true malicious intent, pile one. And I feel like people find that very attractive. Like, I feel like people who just meet you, or people who just see you go by, like, they can sense that you're not a mean person, and you're not someone that is, like, you know, like, disrespectful or anything like that. Or if, you know, like, you've, like, I don't know how to explain it. It could go a ton of different ways, but I just feel like people who have the honor of getting a taste of your energy, they just sense that you're not a judgmental person, and you're very sweet. And people are just like, wow, like, I can't believe this person. Like, pile one's they're just so accepting, and they're not judgmental, or they're not, you know, overly critical of me, you know? It's like they always want the best from me. Okay, let's pull these cards. We have Vanilla. Banana Walnut. Oh, the Vanilla card says status quo, tradition, simplicity. Banana Walnut, cracking codes, learning, observing. And Pina Colada, recreation, traveling, amusement. Pile one, I feel like you're really smart. People definitely sense that. Even if people literally do not talk to you, like strangers pass you by, people sense that you're really smart. Someone who is very much in tune with their culture, someone who is very much educated, someone who is sophisticated. You know, if you are a minimalist person or someone who is simple, that is not to say that you are a simple person. That is not that you are, like, has simple taste, but it's more of like the sophistication and the intricacy is like hidden in plain sight, you know? And I feel like people are very like attracted to that. I feel like that's very alluring for some people, you know? Like you always know something, or you always have something to say about everything, you know? I feel like no matter what people talk about around you, you always know at least a little bit about it. And people are so attracted to that. They're like, wow, this person is so smart. And with this pina colada card, I feel like you have a very, your sense of humor is probably very cultural, or it is very like educated, you know? I feel like maybe you play a lot with satire and a lot of like, you know, jokes like that, you know, jokes that kind of poke fun at especially like societal constructs, I'm feeling. But I feel like your jokes are very like, or like your sense of humor is very twisted, and not in a bad way, you know, but it's just not like your average day-to-day humor. Like the things that make you laugh and make you like tick, like not tick, you know, like things you find funny are either really dumb or really complicated. And I feel like there's no like there's no gray with that. Like I feel like it's one extreme or the other, and people are probably very surprised by how dynamic your sense of humor is and how dynamic your knowledge is, and they're just like, wow, like this person's smart. Like they're smart, they're like pretty, and they're like it's nice, you know, like what do you mean? And I feel like you radiate that full package energy, pile one. So yeah, pile one, that's all I have for your reading. That was a lot, and that was a lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to do the rest of the readings. But anyways, pile one, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like my reading style, if that reading resonated with you, or you know, like you liked it, you know. But yeah, pile one. Literally, I'm about to say thank you for watching. I love you like 3 million times. Like, let me just wrap this up. Like, thank you for watching. I love you. Bye. Low pile 2. Oh my gosh. If you chose Sylvester, this is gonna be your reading. I'm so excited. I just did pile 1's reading, of course, because you know 1, 2. But oh my god, it was so much fun. Way more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Let's just get right into it. So for your card about what people find attractive about you is the Moon card. So, okay, pile 2. The first thing I feel called to mention is that it is the moon, and whenever I think moon, I feel called to mention Pisces and Cancer here, especially Cancer because, you know, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So, and I also noticed that there's butterflies on this card, if you can kind of look kind of closely, you know, butterflies or moths. But pile 1, I feel, no, not pile 1, pile 2, sorry. Pile 2, I feel like you're very daydreamy and very sweet and very emotional. I feel like your emotions run really deep, and I feel like maybe you kind of always seem spaced out, or someone who is a little bit detached from reality, or someone who's kind of always has their head in the clouds, you know. And I feel like maybe you're a lagger, or someone who, you know, like is very bad at texting. And not to say that's like a bad thing or anything, but I just feel like that's kind of like the result of people who are overly daydreamy. And when I say overly daydreamy, I just feel like you always have these beautiful ideas. And I just feel like when people see you in public, it's like you're in your own little world, and you're always like turning to yourself or turning to the resources you have within yourself, and people probably find that really attractive. And I feel like you're very beautiful because of that. I feel like because you're so daydreamy and someone who is always thinking, someone who is you might be a very spiritual person, pile 2, or someone who, or maybe even a religious person. But either way, someone who is very daydreamy and someone who is very into the occult and maybe things like this, and someone who's very unique. And I feel like that translates into how you dress yourself and how you present yourself, pile 2, because I feel like your style and like your way of even speaking, everything that you do, you know, anything that involves expressing yourself, I feel like you do it in a very daydreamy way and in a very non-conventional and cohesive way, you know. I feel like you have translated a lot of your emotions into tangible things, you know, like your clothing, what you're interested in, how you decorate your room, how, You know, you decorate your car if you have a car, you know, anything, you know, you see what you like and you see beauty in everything, and that naturally just makes you a very accepting person. And I feel like people are very attracted to that. I feel like people just, even if it doesn't matter whether or not if people actually get to talk to you or like experience you or just pass you by in a store or something, they just notice that right away you're someone who is very in tune with their emotions and their daydreams, and it translates into like how you express yourself. Like obviously if you're just passing by people in the store, they're only going to see your clothes and you know your person, like just like you know, they're just going to see like what you've presented to them. And I feel like what they see is just someone who is independent, or someone who is very emotional, and someone who is very shy. You may be a very shy person, pile two. Maybe you are very quiet and people are very intrigued by you and very intrigued by how you're kind of withdrawn, and not in a bad way, you know, you're not withdrawn for a bad reason or anything. It's just that maybe you find the world to be especially abrasive, and because of that you kind of created your own little space for yourself where it's inclusive and accepting, and people are very drawn to that, pile too. People are very drawn to how accepting you are. So let's get right into your tarot cards. I pulled the cards a little bit differently today and I loved it, so that's how we're gonna do it. This is the Apparition Tarot. I shuffle it a little bit differently because the cards are so big and because this gilding is so beautiful, and I try my best to preserve it. I already damaged a little bit on the top. Hold on, let me show you. It's like right here. You can't really see it, but it's there. And I was very upset when it happened because I literally felt it happen because I did it with my nail. Yeah. And also I chose the Apparition Tarot because apparition, ghosts, Halloween, you know? So yeah. What do people find attractive about pile 2? What do people find attractive about pile 2? I'm going to shuffle it 5 times. So this is the 4th time. One more time. Alright. And then I'm going to lay the deck down and pull one card at a time and kind of read them as we go. So for the first card, we have Queen of Wands. Ooh. Okay, pile 2. I feel like you may... Okay. So this kind of changes things, or this kind of like sets this huge dynamic, because I feel like everything that I just mentioned about you being a soft and daydreamy person, this may be your inner self because it is the moon card. You know, whenever you think of astrology, or whenever I think of astrology at least, it's kind of like what's hidden, or even in tarot, like the moon, you know, it's hidden. It only comes out at night, you know. And I feel like maybe this emotional part of yourself is something that you keep hidden, or you know, but regardless, with the Queen of Wands, I feel like there's also this flamboyant side to you, pile 2. I feel like you have this very fierce way of asserting yourself, and you're someone who's not afraid to step up, you know. I feel like maybe sometimes you can kind of come off like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can, like, come at someone sideways if you really wanted to, and I feel like, you know, like, you're down to, like, fight, you know, like, pile 2. I feel like you're not one to hesitate from raising a fist. Not like that you're an actual fighter or anything, you know, but it's like if someone challenges you or something, or comes at you wrong, you're just like, I'm not having it. Like, that's not, no, like, not me. I'm not the one. And I feel like maybe people think you have like a heart of nails, or people may think that, depending on whichever one you present. But I really do feel like this Queen of Wands is like what you present to the world. Maybe you have like a fire rising sign, so like Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, but then you have like a water or a more sensitive sun or moon sign. So like I feel called to mention Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, and also Taurus and Virgo. And I feel like maybe those are one of your sun or moon signs, but regardless, I feel like you just have this way of asserting yourself, or this way with your ego, where people see you as very impulsive, and like in a good way, you know, like you're just so, excuse me, I just like, I feel like people sense and see that you're down, you know. And what I mean by that is, if someone came up to you, or is like, you're very much the person that's like, okay, like, today's my day off. I want to drive 500 miles to over here to this national park. Let's go. Or let's drive 5 hours right now and go to the park or something, you know, like, or if someone's like, hey, like, if someone called you and they're like, hey, I have plane tickets to France. My friend didn't want to go. Do you want to go with me? You'll be like, let me get ready. And it just happens. Like, you're someone who is very reliable and someone who, in the heat of the moment, is very spontaneous and very ready to go. And I feel like people are so attracted to that pile too. I feel like maybe whenever you're in public, like, you're very much the one to be boisterous, loud, or having fun. Or it's like, you know, like, whenever you say something, people laugh, you know, like, I feel like you're very funny, pile too. Like, I feel like, you know, like, you are so just hilarious. But I also feel like you're so, like, sweet and nurturing, you know, like, you're the person where if someone says something funny or like a joke or something, or like if someone was trying to speak up but they got interrupted, you're the type of person to be like, hey, blank wanted to say something, or you'll just repeat what they said and then give them credit, you know. You're that person. You're that person who will repeat someone's joke for them but louder, but not take the credit for it. You'll give it to them. And it's just like, you're just such a, like, noble person, you know. You're someone who, you're like 100% AF, and I feel like people are so attracted by that, and I feel like people are very allured by that. And like, you know, moth to a flame type stuff. Ooh, moth to a flame, when we was just talking about moths and butterflies. And I feel like people can't resist you, pile two. Maybe you've had like incidents where people are obsessed with you, or people who won't leave you alone. And I feel like you have to use this discernment sometimes, because with this moon card, I feel like you do have to really stand up for yourself, and you really do guard this emotional core of yourself, because I feel like, you know, if someone catches you one on one and you're put in a position to express yourself more or be more vulnerable, like, people find out that you have a heart of gold, that you're actually very pulpy and very, you know, emotional and very compassionate. And I feel like people can kind of sense that, but not to the degree that you hide, you know, or not to the degree that people can't see. Like, what you present is very much still you, you know. It's not like you're being fake or anything. It's just that you know how to magnify your personality, and you know how to present yourself, and you know how to assert yourself, even though you very well may be a very soft and more emotional person. And people are really attracted to that pile too. Like, people love to see people who can stand up for themselves and people who have a spine, you know. And I feel like maybe you're also not one to back down from challenging someone with your ideas, especially, or your emotions, you know. You're probably definitely one of those people where, like, your feelings are valid, period. And people just love that. So let's pull another card. Queen of Swords. Wow. Another Queen card. So with this particular card, you can notice that the heart in this card is significantly smaller than the Queen of Wands. This leads me to believe that you're a very fair person. Maybe you have a Libra placement, or you could also, we have fire, we have air, and we have the moon card. So you could be a Cancer, you could have fire placement. So like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or Gemini, Libra. Did I just say Aquarius? Sorry, Sagittarius sounded like Aquarius. But I feel like, or you may be those signs, or maybe you attract those signs a lot. Maybe you attract Cancers a lot. But pile two, I feel like you're very, like, you're very airy. And it's very interesting. Like, this whole dynamic is very interesting, because I feel like you're either really shy or, like, really not shy. I feel like it's one of the two. Or, like, if you are shy, when people meet you, they're very surprised to see that you're a surprisingly boisterous, flamboyant, opinionated person. Opinionated is especially big here with the Queen of Swords. I feel like you're very fair. I feel like you're definitely someone who is, like, you know, like, if someone comes up to you with a sob story, like, you will see eye to eye with them. You will agree with them, but you'll also be like, hey, yo, like, you're my best friend and all, and I love you, and you are my world, but you're still acting a fool right now, and I don't agree with that. And or like, I don't know why you're coming up to me crying about it when it's like, this is your fault, you know? And I feel like you're a very critical person in that sense, and not like in a bad way, you know? It's not to say that you're mean about it or anything, but I feel like you're very much not afraid to cut the BS. And I think that people find that very attractive about you, Pile, too. I feel like, especially if people get closer to you, they're very intrigued by your opinions, and people probably really want your opinions a lot. And, you know, if people just meet you, you just give off this very independent vibe, Pile, too, or someone who kind of carries themselves well, as I've been saying. And because of that, people are very fascinated by that, you know? Or let's just pull another card. Let's just pull another card. Ooh. Okay, we also have Page of Cups. Ooh. This card is so cute. I'm just gonna like stare at it for a second. Wow. But with the Page of Cups, more water and or water energy here, but you know, I've mentioned Cancer, so that's why it's more water energy. I feel like you just have this playfulness about you, Pile, too. Like, I feel like with these Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords cards, you very much are a mature person and someone who knows how to assert themselves and someone who knows when it's necessary to assert yourself. I feel like maybe you're the type of person, whenever they speak, it's very calculated, very deliberate. Like, you speak very deliberately, Pile, too, and you're a very deliberate person in everything you do. I feel like everything you do has meaning. You know, you have put energy into everything that you do. And people are probably really attracted to that, Pile, too. Like, people love people who speak, move, do everything with just purpose. And I feel like that's the kind of person you are, you know? Maybe you're also an impatient person. People find that funny about you, especially this Page of Cups. Maybe you're very impatient or someone who moves very quickly, especially in relationships. Maybe the relationships you've had, like, they moved very quickly or they were very fleeting and they were very emotionally underdeveloped. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I just feel like you have this emotional playfulness about you, Pile, too. Like, I just feel like you're very playful, someone who likes joking around, someone who likes picking on people, teasing, having fun, and just, like, you know, like, just, like, poking fun at, like, especially societal constructs. Maybe you're a very satirical person, Pile, too, or you have this very satirical air about you. Someone who like, jokes about very taboo topics or makes very taboo jokes or says very out-of-pocket things. Queen of Swords leads me to believe that maybe you're someone who literally does not care what other people think. And I feel like you're the type of person that's like, if someone doesn't vibe or like someone like disagrees with what you've just said, and that's like an opinion that you very are, like, you just do not tolerate it, you know? Like, you don't tolerate bigots or people who are, you know, just uneducated, ignorant, stupid, or emotionally insensitive. And I just feel like you just do not tolerate that. And I feel like people definitely pick that up about you, Pile, too. People definitely pick up that you do not tolerate stupidity, ignorance, you know, anything that deals with discrimination, those things. Like, you literally don't vibe with it, Pile, too. Like, I literally can't say it another way. Like, you just don't. Like, you just say no. You say, that's not my thing. I'm not into that. If you're into that, then I'm not into you. Bye, LOL. And I feel like because of that, people are very obsessed with your energy. People are very obsessed with making things work out. People are obsessed with getting you to see the grays, even though you probably may keep things black and white because you just don't have time for it. And people are like, oh my gosh, like, no, Pile 2, like, please. Or maybe people try to, like, change themselves for you, but, like, you can kind of see it, you know? I feel like I get this vibe that you don't expect people to change for you, and you accept all people, but that doesn't mean that you keep them all in your life. You know, Pile 2, I feel like you're the type of person that's like, hey, yo, if that's your thing, that's cool, but I'm not with it. So I accept you, but I also accept that you're not part of my life anymore. And people probably are really attracted to that. People are probably very obsessed with that energy. And with the Moon card, I also feel called to mention that if we have Cancer energy here, maybe you're a very motherly person, or someone who gives off like mother vibes, and maybe you've attracted people who are very into that, or like into you, like maternal energies, you know. And I kind of got this in pile one too, but it was a little bit different, but I just wanted to mention that. And I feel like you're very much kind of like, maybe you, okay, this is a little bit out of pocket, but maybe you attracted people with severe mommy issues. Just throwing it out there. Let's pull another card. Okay, we also have Eight of Cups. Yeah, pile two. It definitely seems as if though you've left a lot of emotional situations that may have left a dent on your heart, or like kind of like hurt you, or like, you know, like confused you. I feel like you really do not deal with people who are confusing or give off mixed signals, excuse me. And I also feel like you've walked away from a lot. Maybe people sense your history with your emotions and sense your history with what you've dealt with, and maybe you're walking away from a lot, maybe even right now, pile two. But I think that people sense that you are someone who's not afraid to walk away from something, because like they're just like, you are very much the type of person that's like, I don't care how long it's been, like I'm done hanging on, I'm done, I can't do this anymore. And I feel like with the Eight of Cups, maybe you felt like you've walked a very lonely path, pile two, and people kind of sense that. People sense that you can be kind of a loner, or someone who just is very. You hold your image very carefully, pile two. Like, you are very careful about what the public sees about you. You are very careful about what people see about you. Maybe it's out of insecurity, but whatever the case may be, pile two, it doesn't have to be out of insecurity. Maybe you just don't want people in your business. And I think that you really not. I don't know how to say this without it being wrong or like sounding wrong, but I feel like you very much manipulate what people see about you. And I feel like you have a lot of control over what people perceive of you. And it's almost like you can kind of control how attracted people are to you, and maybe like this sense of power, like people also sense that, and they're just like, wow, this person knows themselves so well, or they know exactly what to put out, they know exactly how to push buttons. I feel like you're a charmer, pile two. You know how to appeal to a group of people, you know how to appeal to anyone, and people are so like, they are swept off their feet by that. Friends, romantic interests, everything alike. People are so into the fact that you know exactly what to say, knows exactly what to present, knows exactly what to do. And people are just so allured by that. People are like, wow, like I can't believe they're into this too. I can't believe they agree with this. I can't believe they just said that. And with the Eight of Cups, like I just feel like you just don't deal with confusion, or maybe you can be a confusing person, and people are very, how do I say it? People are very hypnotized by you, pile two. Maybe people are very like, I keep wanting to say allured. Like when people like see you, they're like, wow, like they're so, like you're so intricate, pile two. And I feel like the more people, it's like obviously at first glance they see a very tasteful person, and someone who is very judgmental and critical, and someone who is very playful. But once they get to know you, they get a lot of smoke and mirrors, because they get very lost in like getting to know you, you know, because you're so like intricate and you're just so interesting. And I feel like people are very like maybe people have gotten very obsessed with getting to know you or getting to know your interests. And this has definitely been like a theme in your life before. Like people are just being obsessed with you. Okay, one more card. We also have Five of Cups. I feel like you're also a very emotional person. Maybe you mirror people's emotions a lot, or maybe you're very good at feeling other people's pain. And I feel like you're a very compassionate person. You're someone who is very relatable, or someone who easily relates to others. And people find that really attractive by you. The reason I say that is because when I look at this card and I see the crying, I don't feel like that's you, but I also feel like it just seems like if other people are crying, like it doesn't matter whether or not you're good at dealing with people who are crying. I just feel like you are very understanding and you're very supportive and you're very nurturing to those who are experiencing the Five of Cups, because we have a lot of hearts here, a lot of emotional beauty here. We have a heart in this Care Bear, a heart here, a heart here, You're someone who is very sweet and very nurturing, And I feel called to mention these two cups upright. Maybe you're a very optimistic person, pile two. Someone who, like when someone's crying, they're like, well, at least you didn't lose this, Or like you're very good at looking at the positives and kind of mediating situations. Or maybe you're very good at mediating conflicts, pile two. And people really like that about you. And you're just really good at knowing balance and kind of keeping your feet, like both your feet on the ground, and having your head on your shoulders. And you're just someone who's very balanced. There's no other way for me to say, you seek harmony, and you're very good at keeping things PG, and not PG, but you're very good at keeping things real and keeping things very realistic and very harmonious. You're very much the person that can keep the peace, and people love that about you, pile two. Someone can throw you in a group of people and you're so, you expertly navigate that social situation, and people are very impressed by that. It's easy for you to get along with people that you've just met, whether or not you're a people's person. So yeah, pile two, this reading's getting really long. Let me just pull some oracle cards, or I already pulled them, but I'm gonna lay them out for you. So we have Forgive. Oh, I want to look cute, sorry. Sorry, I just had to make it look cute. Grieve. Power. Yeah, with this Power card, I just heavily get this vibe that you know exactly how to you know how to do people. You know how to navigate people in social situations. And you know how to get the upper hand socially, and people are just so attracted to how you can win anybody over, pile two. I feel like you're very much good at winning people over or persuading people, and you're people just see that. People see how convincing you are, and they're just oh my gosh, pile two. You know what I mean? And with the Forgive and Grieve card, I feel like I said with the Five of Cups, obviously you are a very judgmental person. I think that when you're done with someone, you are done. But I also think that there's another part of you that is very forgiving, maybe a little bit too forgiving, pile two. Maybe you've been really forgiving before in the past, or even now to this day. And at the Grieve card, maybe it's caused you some pain, but regardless, I feel with the Grieve card and Forgive, I just think that you're very accepting, and you are good at giving second chances, maybe even third chances, pile two. And people just love how forgiving you are, and how non-judgmental you are. And even if you are actually judgmental, it's you never mean it with malicious intent, truthfully. And I feel you're just so compassionate, and you're very good at apologizing, probably. Okay, we have these ice cream cards for some keywords. So we have blueberry, peace, meditation, acceptance, cherry, vanilla, love, passion, relationships. Oh, excuse me, that was gross. Avocado, self-care, beauty, healing. Okay, with this avocado card, you could love avocados, and you could very well be a very attractive person. With this card, I just feel called to mention that you're very good at taking care of yourself, pile two. Maybe you do face masks a lot, or you do things to your hair a lot, or you do skincare a lot, or just things that you do to take care of yourself. And people are very attracted to that, pile too. And like I said, with this peace and acceptance card and this blueberry, you're just very accepting, and you're just very even if you don't vibe with someone, like I said, previously in this reading, you can be into them, but I'm not gonna be into you because of it. But it's never hard feelings, I just think that you're very socially complicated, not in a bad way, but when I say complicated, I mean you're very socially detailed and very intricate. The way you perceive and work with people is very unique to you, and bespoke to you, if that's the word. And people are very much, they see that, they see that you create your own relationships, and you have your own way of navigating them, cultivating them, and people are very into that. You know, people are very into how unique you are. In love, passion, relationship with this cherry vanilla card, you probably have, maybe you've gone through a player phase, or maybe you can come off as a player or someone who is just seemingly always just in a relationship. But that, I feel like it's interesting because even if you're in a relationship, people still see you as an individual, you know? I feel like if you're with someone or you're with people, they see those people as on your shoulder, you know? Like, you are literally carrying people. And people are really into that, you know? People are into how much of a leader you can be and how you kind of step up and you can kind of be like someone who comes off as maybe aggressive, but like with this, with the amount of Libra energy I've been getting from this reading, like, because we have the Queen of Swords here, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, as I mentioned, I feel like there's an emphasis on Libra, and I feel like you're very good at just, I don't know how to explain it, like, you're so good with relationships, and you're so good with people, Pile 2, like I said, like, even if you don't like them, but yeah, I think that you really take care of yourself a lot, and I feel like you're very beautiful, Pile 2, and I just feel like people, when they meet you or when they just see you, they just immediately sense how you carry yourself, and it doesn't matter, you know, like, people, you probably have people follow you a lot, or people like you're just such an agreeable person, you're just such a yes person, and it's weird because like you can somehow convince people to say yes with you or no with you, and people are just like heart eyes, you know, like tongue sticking out type stuff with you, and they're just like, wow, like they're just so good with their words. Yeah, Pile 2, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Please like and subscribe and comment if the reading resonated with you. I'm very curious, especially with this reading. But yeah, before I start saying thank you so much for watching like a million more times, let me just end it right here. So, bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose Bugs Bunny, this is going to be your reading for what do people find most attractive about you? Girl, these readings have been so much fun. I am so excited to get right into it. So for this card, we have Tome. So right off the bat, Pile 3, when I was looking at this card before I started your reading, I immediately sensed some Capricorn energy, because with the Tome card, it kind of speaks about being a learner, like a student, and I feel like, ooh, I also get Sagittarius vibes by saying that, like a student of life, if you know what I mean. And the Tome is a card that talks about being a slow mover, and not like you're slow, but as in that you're very deliberate. Ooh, Cancer energy too. Someone who is very careful and someone who moves forward with intention. I feel like you're one foot in front of the other person, and you move like you're a very like deliberate person, and you do not do things without intention. You know, you aren't unreasonable, you know. And I feel like people right off the bat sense that you're a very deliberate and a very, you know, like you value your time, Pile 3. And I feel like when you're in public, like you may seem like you're moving very quickly, or when people meet you, they might sense that like everything you say has weight to it. Every single thing that you do has weight to it, Pile 3. People are so attracted to that. People are so attracted to how they never have to guess with you. And I just get this vibe that you're so, okay, Pile 3, you very well may be very smart. You very well may be one of those people that whenever someone talks to you about something, you know something about it, you know? Like, when I'm just sensing that if someone came up to you with the most radical, unhinged, off-topic thing, you'd be like, oh, and you'd be able to present a few things about it, and those few things are right. They're detailed, they are intricate, and people are like, wow, like I didn't expect you to know that, like, and they're very attracted to that. People are like, oh my god, I feel seen by you. Like, people feel seen by you, and they probably are obsessed with that. They're probably obsessed with how good you are at reading people, seeing people, and kind of like cutting through the BS, you know, and seeing right through people. I feel like you're a very good judge of character, Pile 3. So far, all the piles today have been, but I feel like you especially, you're just so smart, Pile 3, and people are very just attracted to that, you know? Like, even the way you present yourself is very sophisticated, you know? You very well may be into blacks, whites, grays. You know, Bugs Bunny is gray. But I feel like you're a very classy person, someone who dresses very formally. I'm looking at this tome card and I noticed that she's in kind of like this little uniform with a bow on top. You know, her hair is very kept. So you very well may be into that kind of stuff, you know, like dressing like a student or something. But that's just a loose thought. But, you know, the way you dress yourself is very sharp and very clean. Like, you seem like a very tidy person and people are very into that. People see, like, you probably smell good, you probably look good, and you probably just, like, I don't know, like, if you get down to maybe you taste good. But people are really into that, and people really see how much effort you put into your own appearance. So let's get right into your tarot cards. I'm using the apparition tarot today because ghosts, apparitions, but I've been telling this to every pile, but I shuffle this deck so differently because look, I freaking damaged it and I want to protect the gilding as much as I can. Because I can't just rebuy a tarot deck, that's not the same. But I'm pulling the cards a bit differently today. You'll see. But yeah, pile 3, I feel like you're really smart. Oh my gosh, I literally can't get over that. Also, with the tome card, you may be an avid reader or someone who reads, like, you know, like you're very updated, especially politically. You may be a very political person, pile 3, but I feel like you're very much always reading into things, and you're very much like, oh, I've been reading this new book, or people were like, you just finished a book yesterday, or, you know, like, oh, I was just reading up on this thing, or I was just reading this article. Like, you're a reference person, you know. You are definitely a factual person, someone who speaks with facts, and someone who can always back up their arguments. And people love that about you. People are very obsessed with how you carry yourself and how you always know something. Anyways, I'm going to shuffle this 5 times. And we're going to pull one card at a time. Kind of read into it and then pull another. You'll see. What do people find attractive about pile 3? Okay, that's 5 times. I'm going to put the deck right here. So for your first card, we have 6 of Wands. So I've noticed that there's a lot of like hands clapping. So I feel like you're a very prestigious person, pile 3. Maybe you go to a really nice school, or maybe you have accomplished a lot in your life. Maybe you've gotten a lot of awards, a lot of like you're just a very prestigious person, someone who is very knowledgeable, and someone who, with the tome card, maybe you've broken records and things like that. Maybe you've written a book, pile 3, shoot. But I just feel like this card seems to go a bunch of different ways. Okay, so one thing that I was thinking when I pulled the 6 of Wands, one thing that I feel right off the bat is how good you are at praising other people. I feel like when people pull up to you and they're like, it doesn't matter what they did. They're like, oh my gosh, I finally cleaned my room. Or, oh my gosh, like, I just made a viral TikTok video or something, anything. And you are so supportive. Like, you will literally be like, oh my gosh, good job. I'm so proud of you. You're so legendary. I love you. I love that for you. Like, we all love this for you. Let me tell everyone. And you're just such a supportive person, pile 3. I feel like people love that. Like, I just feel like people are especially validated by you because they see how much you've gotten done, you know? They see how smart you are and how much you've accomplished and how good you are at what you do, you know? If you work a job, people see how good you are at your job. People see how good of a student you are. All of these things, you know? What you do, like, you are good at it, and people recognize that. And because of that, when you validate people, which you will do any time, like, they're very pleased by that, and they're very, even maybe a little bit addicted to that. But you very well may be a fire sign, so because we have Wands here, so it could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I'm sensing especially like Sagittarius and Aries here because I feel like you are very like on the go person, someone who is very onto the next thing, and you're very ambitious and very driven, and people love that about you, Pile 3. It doesn't matter how well they know you. They could be complete strangers. They sense how driven you are and how ambitious you are. Like, even when you're like in a mall or something, it's clear you're looking for something. It's clear you have places to be, and people are just like, wow, that is so, like, like you have your eye on the prize, and people are like, oh my gosh, we love a goal-oriented person. And they're just really into that, Pile 3. So let's pull another card. 7 of Cups. So with this card, I feel like you're also very daydreamy, and maybe you also have a lot of options. I'm sensing that you have a lot of ambitions and a lot of dreams and a lot of options. Like, you have all of these things at your feet. Maybe you get called a lot, or maybe like you get called for interviews a lot, or schools hit you up, or people hit you up. Like, just this sense that you have it going on to where you attract people in corporations, anything. And people see that, people see how magnetic you are, and they're very attracted to that. But I feel like this card also goes another way, in the sense that you may be a very daydreamy person, and someone who's constantly like thinking of the next thing, and you're probably very creative and imaginative, Pile 3. I almost wonder with this tome card that, like, maybe you're a very creative and artistic person, and you've pursued things artistically, and you've gotten recognition for it, and people are like, wow, like, you're so talented. Like, you can draw, wow, you can play that instrument, wow, like, all these things, and you're very educated at the same time. Like, you're just so prestigious and involved, and people are so into that. Like, if you're in college, people are like, wow, this person really knows how to hold their ground. This person is smart. This person really gets their things done, and they're always on time. And people really like that about you. They like how consistent, routine-based, and just reliable you are. And, if people have gotten to experience you or your energy, they see how you're humble, Pile 3. Like, they see how humble you are. They see that no matter what, like, it doesn't matter if you literally rule the world, you'll still be humble and very magnanimous towards people who are quite probably literally below you. Like, you're the type of person that probably gives the homeless person $1 or two. You buy them a meal. You're just very giving, and you're very generous. And I just feel like you're always on to the next thing, and it's just like you're very on the go, but you don't hesitate to stop to help someone. You don't hesitate to be there for someone who is in need, and people love that about you. People love how, like, how focused you are. Like, you're the definition of, if they wanted to, they would. Like, when you want to, you do, and you clearly show up. Like, you're always the type of person that shows up, and people just love that about you. Whew. Okay, we also have the World. I feel like with the World card, okay, Pile 1 also got this card, but with the World card, I feel like, because, okay, do you see how many animals there are? I feel like you're very good with animals, Pile 3, or you have animals, and people sense that about you, or see that. Maybe you, like, when you go out, you have dog hair on you, or, you post videos of your pets online, or something like that, or you post, like, you're very much into, and, like, maybe you're vegan, Pile 3, but you very much are into animals, and even protecting them, taking care of them, standing up for them. And maybe people find that really attractive about you. People will see and they're like, oh, they have dog hair on their hoodie. Like, I love dogs. And, if they're crazy, they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's husky hair. I love huskies. I have a husky. Do you have a husky? I love huskies. Do you want to bond over that? But, and with the, it is the World card. So we have fire, we have water, and we also have all the fixed signs here. So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. Ooh, I almost said Aquarius again. But I also feel like with the World card, you may be very well traveled or very culturally knowledgeable. So you probably know a lot about cultures, and you know, maybe that's a probably really interesting thing to talk to you about. Maybe you know a lot about different, you know, countries and their, you know, festivities and things they do, you know. And people, this also kind of doubles down to like you're a very inclusive person, you know. I feel like you're the type of person that doesn't, you're not like discriminating, you know. You're very inclusive and you're very accepting of all people and people who are from all walks of life, as we all should be. But obviously you take that to a whole nother level, you know. And people love that, you know. People love how accepting you are, and people love how expansive you are. And with this world card, like, I just feel like you may be a traveler too, or you're someone who really wants to travel, and people are like, oh my gosh, like, let me travel with you, like, I want to travel with you. But I feel like, you know, you may be the type of person who posts on their like social media pictures of you traveling, pictures of you being in different countries, different cities, different places, you know, and you're very updated, and people find that very attractive about you, Pile 3. People love how on the go you are and how expansive you are. People are like, wow, like, I want to be with them, like, they seem like a fun person to be around. Okay, we also have Page of Cups. So I feel like there's also this playfulness about you, Pile 3. I feel like with this World card and the Page of Cups and Seven of Cups, you approach things with imaginative curiosity. And what I mean by that is, like, you will approach a subject with a lot of, like, childlike feelings and learn all over again. It seems as if you grow all over again, you know? Like, you're the type of person that can start from nothing or start at the very bottom of something and literally climb your way up. And people are very, like, impressed by that. People are very, like, wow, like, they really did that, you know? They really started at rock bottom and now they're out here better than me. And people are very intrigued by that. And with the Page of Cups, you also probably have this emotional playfulness about you. Combined with the Seven of Cups, I feel like you're very daydreamy and someone who is very, probably, you may be a hopeless romantic, Pile 3, or someone who is very into romance. So maybe you read romance novels, I read romance novels. You watch pick a card tarot readings, you know, that are like, oh, like, how do they feel towards you? Or, you know, like, you're very much into those things, you know. I feel like you're very hopelessly romantic, you know. You're very much into, like, walks on the beach, dinner dates, everything like that. And I feel like people sense this about you. People sense that you're very hopeless romantic. And I almost wonder if, like, you really would give people a chance, or you're very non-discriminating when people, if someone, like, hit on you, or if someone, you know, like, they hit on you the right way, you know, because there's obviously a correct way to come at somebody. I feel like you would give them a chance, but maybe people are intimidated by you because of the way you carry yourself. And maybe it's kind of lonely, or like maybe sometimes you feel lonely because, like, or maybe sometimes you feel unattractive because of that. But just know, Pile 3, people feel like you wouldn't give them a chance. People feel like you wouldn't want to do those things with them. And I feel like when people, like, I feel like maybe people want to do these things with you, you know? Maybe this Page of Cups and Seven of Cups refers to people wanting to do those things with you. Maybe people want to take you on a date. Maybe people have asked you out and you're like, girl, bye, no. And I feel like people just, like, they want to take you places, Pile 3, or they want you to take them places or educate them. And they, like, really get off on the fact that you're so intelligent and so expansive and well-traveled, or at least very culturally knowledgeable, and very knowledgeable about the world and its geography, its cultures, everything like that. Lots of emphasis on Sagittarius here. And with the Page of Cups, you may be very emotionally immature, and I mean that in a very good way. Like you're playful, you know, you're childish. And that's, like, in a good way, you know. Like, you're very fun, you're very sweet, and people probably don't expect this from you because you may come off as very serious, very regal, and maybe you dress yourself very, you know, professionally or unique and very trimmed. But then when people get to know you, they're like, wow, he's, like, he or she or they is so playful, you know. They love messing around, doing jokes, going to fun places, you know, like, you know, they've literally been to Europe, they've literally been to all these different places, and, like, they're still down to just go to Walmart, you know. And I feel like you're just so, like, you're so ready for anything, pile 3. Like, I feel like you're the type of person that's like, if someone came up to you and was like, hey, like, I was gonna go to Japan with my friend, but they canceled on me because they couldn't. Do you want to go with me? And you'll just be like, yeah, let me go get ready. Let's go. And people are so like, wow, like, that was so short notice, and they're ready to go. Or I feel like you're also good at making time for people, pile 3. Maybe you are very good at making people feel special. Look at you. But I very much feel like you could have a very packed schedule, but you'll still fit in like 30 minutes for someone. Maybe you'll fit in a phone call or something. And people are very attracted to that. People love the attention you give them. People love your attention. Like, you know, because they're like, of all the things this important person could be doing, they chose to call me, you know, and sit down with me and have a conversation with me. They chose to have coffee with me, you know. And it's not like the whole time they were in a hurry or anything, they were like impatient or anything, you know. They very much were invested into the conversation. And people, oh, I just bumped into the table. People love that about you, pile 3. People just love how, like, giving and generous you are. Page of Cups to me is a very generous card too. And with 7 of Cups, like, I feel like you're very generous. But yeah, let's put one more card. We also have Ace of Cups. Ooh. I feel like you're very good at extending your love, pile 3. I feel like you're very good. People may have fallen in love with you, pile 3. Or people may have, like, gotten obsessed with you. Or maybe people, like, just cannot let you go because your love is just so potent. Because with this Ace of Cups, like, I just see so much abundance in it. This bowl of fruit, this cup just overfilling with water. And I feel like you're so good at loving or showing that you care to someone. With the 6 of Wands, like, in this tome card, like, you're very intelligent and you're very emotionally aware of how to love people and how to take care of them and pamper them. And with the 7 of Cups, like, you're a very daydreamy person, and maybe you're very creative with dates. Like, if you've taken people out on dates, pile 3, or like you've been taken out, like, you're very, like, chameleon, like, not like in like you're being fake or anything, but you're very good at adapting to any situation, and you're very good at coming up with ideas. Like, I feel like you, because you're so well traveled and so aware, like, you always know what to do, you always know where to go, and people are like, wow, like, I wasn't expecting that. I would have never thought of like that. And I feel like this also shows that you're very innovative, pile 3. I feel like you're very unconventionally innovative. Like, people wouldn't expect you to come up with, like, people just wouldn't expect the solutions that you've come up with. You know, if people are like, oh my gosh, I have to do this and this and this, or I have this problem. When people come up to you with a problem, like, or whenever you face a problem, you very much know how to solve it. You know how to go about it. You know exactly what to do. Like, you're so quick on your feet, pile 3, and I feel like that applies in all aspects of your life. And people are like, they're like attracted to that. They're so attracted to how quick you are and how smart you are and how you always know what to do. People probably feel really safe with you, and people probably come up to you a lot for their problems because they're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what to do. Can you help me? And you know, you are like, yeah, of course, just let me finish this up. And then you'll immediately tend to them, you know, like, okay, like, this says this, you need to do this, go here for that. And it's like, I would personally do this. And they listen to you, pile 3, and they just love how you always know what to do. You always know what to say and do. And it's just so alluring to people, and people love that about you. And, you know, like, obviously this applies more to people who have experienced your energy, but I feel like even when you're in public, people perceive you as like quirky or like different, or someone who is very confident and someone who is very, you know, like, not cocky. Like, I feel like you are confident, but you're not cocky about it. You know, you're not overly, you don't boast too much, and people are so attracted to how humble you are and how, like, just like, you don't look down on people ever, you know. You're such an inclusive person, and people sense that about you, and they love that, especially because, like, you yourself come up as very regal and very trimmed and very professional. And you've probably even surprised yourself of how many people you've impressed. And I feel like you're a very impressive person with the Six of Wands. Like, there's only one of you out there, and people love that. Like, people love you, Pile 3. Like, you're just so magnetic, and I feel like you draw in so many different kinds of people, and they are just so attracted to you. Like, I feel like you're such an attractive person, Pile 3, and it just translates in so many different ways because, like, you're someone who's very inclusive and very, like, culturally aware, you know, and you're just like, you're so smart. Oh, okay. I have some oracle cards for you, so let's pull those and then wrap up this reading before it gets too long. So I have power, truth, anxiety. Okay, pile 3, I feel like maybe deep down, like, you still are a worried person, and maybe you kind of upkeep a lot of things out of anxiety, or maybe you're a nervous person. You very well could be insecure deep down, but I feel like you should know that, like, what you feel deep down about yourself and how you perceive yourself is nothing compared to what people actually see, you know? Like, even if you, like, openly broadcasted that you're an anxious person, you're actually very insecure. If you are, you know, if you're not, like, obviously, this can go a bunch of different ways. I'm going to mention them. But I feel like if you yourself are an insecure person, if people found that out about you, they'd be very shocked. They'd be very shocked about the truth of how you actually feel and how you navigate this world. You know, like, what you present is probably very radically different from what you actually are or what you actually do. And not to say that you're, you know, like, fake or anything. It's like all the things that you present yourself as are still you, you know? And with this anxiety card, I also wonder if you make other people anxious. You know, maybe you make other people feel very insecure, or people who, like, you make them feel the need to look at themselves more. And it's just like you have this powerful mirroring effect on people, you know? Like, people, like, they see things in you that they can't do, or like they feel like they can't do it, and that makes them very anxious, you know? It's like they don't know what to do with this attraction they have towards you. It just channels into this immense wave of anxiety and daydreaminess. And with this truth and power card, I feel like you're very blunt. I feel like you say the craziest things, and people just always respect you, and they really probably love your opinion. Maybe people come up to you a lot for your opinion, you know? Like I said, like, people probably come up to you with their problems a lot, but I feel like even in public, you're an unhinged person, and you're not afraid to say the exact truth, and people really love that about you, especially in professional settings. Maybe people love how blunt you are and how you really do cut to the chase, and you're very, like, you don't waste time with it, pile 3, and people really love that about you, because ain't no one in this world love anything more than someone who respects their time, you know? Have some ice cream cards for you too. We have Fig, Abundance, Fertility, Expansion. Ooh, expansion. Tiger, Strength, Dignity, Majesty. And Mango, Attraction, Intrigue, Sensuality. You very well may be a sensual person, pile 3, but with that expansion card, like, and this tiger card as a whole, like, I feel like you're a very strong person, someone who has created their own walk of life, and someone who carries themselves very well, and someone who knows how to navigate this world. And people love your independence. Like, people, like, feel like they need you almost, and, like, people are so attracted to you. And people, and when I say attracted to you, it's just this sense of, like, you carry yourself so well, and people want to, like, how do I say it, like, stand under that, you know, like, stand under your umbrella, you know? Maybe you attract a lot of insecure people, or people who, like, are very, like, anxious, or, like, don't believe in themselves as much, and they're very attracted to you because of your confidence. And with this attraction card, you've probably had a lot of secret admirers, or people who are obsessed with you, are very attracted to you because of your sensuality, I'm sensing, or people are very intrigued by you, and they really want to get to know you. People are probably obsessed with, like, your opinions and what you know, and, like, people are like, I want to, like, open your head and, like, see what's going on in there, like, who are you? And you're just very, like, abundant, you know? Like, you just always have it going on. Like, you like, it seems as if though you always have a dime to spare, you always have time to spare. It's like no matter how busy you are, it's just like you still spare time and you still set things aside for people. And I don't know, people are just very honored by that, you know. People are just very honored by how giving you are and how sweet and forgiving you are, you know. And you're very understanding too, Pile 3. I feel like people love that you're very understanding and you're very non-judgmental despite the fact that you're very truthful. So I feel like people love that you're also very truthful and very blunt, but also very understanding and very compassionate, you know. So it's like even when you tell people a hard pill to swallow, it's like you still manage to present it in a way that's easy to swallow, and people love that about you. So yeah, Pile 3, I think that's all I have for you. I had so much fun with these readings. Honestly, if you like this reading or if it resonated with you, please tell me in the comments. I would love that. So yeah, Pile 3, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Please like and comment and subscribe. If you like the reading, I post every Monday and Friday. So yeah, before I start saying thank you so much for watching, I love you, I'm gonna just end it now. So bye.